Welcome everybody. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new run of the Trinity 82-foot cubic reefers for BNSF Railway. These are the 7,771 cubic foot versions in their second run with the logo Icicles. And before we get into it, do me a favor, if you're new, hit the subscribe button, like the video if you enjoy, and without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, so I purchased 6 of these with the conspicuity FRA stripes. So these are 2005 onward era cars, similar to the first run, which had the roofline icicles, and those all had the stripes. Here's a view of the back of the box here, lots of detail on here. Seems to be the same box as the first run, with the exception of the nameplate, of course. All right, so let's go ahead and get this unboxed. Very similar packaging to the first run. Should do a good job again. The first run, I've had no issues with that. This does appear to be the exact same manual as the first run. That's the paint scheme from the first run here. More of that info, same stuff that's on the back of the box here, as well as a parts diagram inside here as well. Lots of stuff in here. Too much for the camera. So I noticed here that the extra bearing caps are actually included inside the plastic instead of just loose like the first run. So that's a nice addition, makes it a little easier to keep track of. Do that hard plastic and then some soft plastic here. And we've got the model. And here's those bearing caps. Since the bearings do rotate, we get a couple extras here. Always very nice since they do fall out. And we're presented with the model here. I'll go ahead and give you a quick spin. First impressions, looking very nice. This is the first time I've seen this model. I just unpacked them today. It's a little raw reaction here. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the details. All right, so let's go ahead and start with arguably the important end of the car, the A end here with the refrigeration unit. Now, all the units in this run do have the carrier AC unit. That was one of the options on the last run, but now you don't have a choice of which AC unit. We do have the diesel tank down below, as well as an etched metal walkway here, which looks very nice. At first look, it did seem from the side view that those handrails were bent right here. Now, it's just a little bit pushed out here in the end, but it is supposed to be extended out this way. So that is correct, don't fear. Do have the same markings on the AC unit. We've got the little satellite here as well, and right in the corner here is where you'll have the light for the sound equip model. It has the light and sound on there. And then we do have the ScaleTrains plastic coupler here, as well as the train line hoses and a coupling lever. All the printing here on the end looks very, very nice. Once again, very small, hard to read right here. Try to zoom in a sec. But it looks very well done in person. It's all very legible. Looking great on this side. We do have some slightly see-through points here in the AC unit as well, in that black section that's a little hard to pick up on camera. But if I go ahead and get real close in here, show you some of that detail. Like on this blue stripe here, some tiny, tiny text. But it's visible in person, so it's very well done once again. ScaleTrains is usually pretty good about their print application and quality. All right, taking a look at the side of the model here, we do have the FRA stripes here in yellow across the model. Tons of fine printing once again all across the model. We do have lots of separately applied plastic pieces around the door here. Very thin, so be careful. Don't expect them to break off, but just a heads up. And then, of course, the feature of this paint scheme being the logo Icicles here. So the wagon wheel logo with the Icicles there, that's how you can differentiate super easily between this run and the previous run. And we do have some grab irons separately applied here on the right side as well. Let's take a zoom in real quick and take a look at some of those fine details. Things like the load limit and safety information here. Very, very well done. It's a good look at that logo here, as well as some of the car info here on the side. You can see the separately applied grab irons. All right, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the B side of the model here. We do have the blue stripe here once again with some fine printing, and the brake wheel, wire platform in here. Same coupler, some separately applied ladders here, as well as the plastic coupler on the side here. Take a zoom in so you can see those fine printing here on the rear of the model. So this is probably the closest view of the car so far. So you can see some of the small printing is very well done, and that's consistent across the rest of the car as well. All right, and we'll go ahead, just take a look here at the other side of the car here. Same as the other side, just reverse printing, just to show you here. And now let's go ahead and take a quick look at the roof. This is a more interesting roof, I suppose. There are ribs on the roof here, as you can see. The previous run only had rivets along the edges of the car. There were no roof detail like this. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the underside. And what I'd like to do first is just hold it up here so you can see through. And there's so many things protruding off the bottom of this model that are separately applied here. So it looks great from this view here. We take a look on the side. I'll give you a zoom in a second for some better detail. We do have detail all the way across the car. We have some fine brake lines as well. All the reservoirs here are pretty much contained on the right side of the model here. And we do have very similar detail on the right side here. So let's go ahead and take a quick zoom in. Before I do, I'll just point out that this little hole right here is the location for where you turn on the sound on the sound equipped models. Obviously, I do not have that. And you will also see some metal pickups inside the wheels, which did cause some issues in the first run where they wouldn't roll freely. So hopefully this model with the sound versions roll much better, and I'll give you a quick demo of the rolling on this model as well here on the track. But before we do that, let's take a look, zoom in on this rear or bottom detail here. We do have printing on the trucks. The car number is printed on the truck. Looks very nice. Move across here, just give you a good idea of what it looks like on the bottom. Once again, rotating bearing caps here as well. You can kind of see that see-through grate there just at the edge there for the AC unit. And while I do have the model on the side, I'll go ahead and give our wheels a quick measure here. We are engaged there. And on this side as well. Lombard Hobbies track gauge, not sponsored. The trucks are fairly restricted in mobility because of all the brake detail underneath, so be careful, don't try to push them too much. And they are recessed just a little bit in the body here. You can see there's a little cutout for those wheels. But let's go ahead and get this model on the track and make sure it rolls well. So it's pretty obvious this is a pretty long car. The minimum radius is 22 inches, which is what I'm running on here. It does seem to bind up a little less at the maximum edges of this curve than the first run, so that's a good sign. It still does not run too freely through this little S curve I have set up. I'll just push it through here. It's pretty decent, but it does seem like the friction issues were resolved even on this non-sound version here. So I'm very happy to see that. I will go ahead, I'm gonna put another model on the track here because the first version would not handle an S-curve like this. So I'm just gonna double check for clarity here on the second run. All right, so I've got the two coupled up here and we'll just give it a little test on the S-curve here. And we do get stuck once again. So same kind of issue, make sure that if you're running these cars, don't have any S-curves here, or if you're going to, make sure you have much more than a 22-inch radius, because both the front and rear trucks here have derailed. So just a heads up. All right, let's go ahead and give you a quick run by, kind of how it would look like in a unit train with a bunch of these, pulled by this Kato BM Executive Mac. All right, so I thought it'd be a good idea here to go ahead and compare these first two runs. Just some visual differences here between the two, so I do think it's worth it to take a look. Obviously, we do have different paint schemes. The roofline icicles here in the back is the first run, and we have no icicles, and icicles are on the logo here. The biggest difference is on the front of the unit here. Now, I did select a car with the Thermo King unit. This is the Thermo King Late, and this is the carrier unit only offered on the second run. But you can see here that the whole platform is different on the new run. We do have a gray metal grate, and this is a black metal grate on the first run. We do not have white grab irons here that we do have at the bottom of the first run. And then looking at it from the side, we do have a different handrail style here. This one is more straight, while this one bends out a little bit. As well as a black ladder here, while we have grabs that are all white on the first run. We do have the same detail on the ends here with the coupler and the cut levers. Moving to the side here, I'll just give you an overhead shot. I don't see very many differences between the two here. Now they both have the FRA stripes. You could only get them with the FRA stripes on the first run, but the second run I got them with it because I wanted them to kind of match. And here's a look at the roof. Again, the first run is pretty smooth here, just some rivets barely visible along the ends, and the second run here has the ribbed roof. And moving to the rear here, we do have two different ladder styles. We do have separate grabs here. I just noticed that this one is a little bit bent, while this is a single piece on the first run. And looking at the back here, we just have a different colored plate. We got a darker brown versus the gold on the brake chains. Additionally, the wheel is a little bit higher up on the new run here versus the first run. It's a little bit lower, but that's a very minor detail. And additionally, here's a quick side-by-side shot of the two underbodies. So you can get a good idea here. We do have the first run on the right and the new run on the left. Very similar. Both still look pretty good, but just for reference. All right, and just want to finish up here with some final thoughts on these units. Once again, I think ScaleTrains did a great job on these. I'm glad they brought them back for a second run because the first run sold out so fast. So if you're interested, I would recommend picking them up pretty quick. Lombard Hobby still had a decent amount in stock, about 10 in each road number. There's 12 road numbers in this run. If you're interested in picking them up. I do enjoy the variety. I wasn't honestly expecting there to be this much difference in the AC units between the carrier versions in this run and the previous run. I do like the logo icicles, like I talked about. That printing is very nice. Once again, I forgot to mention on the track, the body wobble still is a little bit much. It's not as bad, I think, as the first run. Just, again, with these being the non-sound versions, they're a little bit lighter. And since they are so long, being designed for that sound unit in them, these will come in a little lighter. So you can add weight. That'll probably help out a little bit. But at $55 each here, Very long car once again, so probably justified with that cost. It's the exact same between these first and second run. Again, the sound versions of these go for $80. But yeah, I'm very happy with this car. I do enjoy the addition of the ribs on the roof just to make it a little more interesting. But with that, I think I'll wrap it up here. Just a little bit, another spin to the back. Thanks for watching. Do me a favor and subscribe if you're new, if you enjoyed, like the video. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching.